Everyone trusted Ama, and everyone depended on her. But no one ever questioned why the greatest healer in Ogidi feared a single drop of water. Ama is not who they think she is, and the revelation will change everything. In the bustling village of Ogidi, there lived a woman named Ama, who was known as the greatest healer anyone had ever seen. Mothers brought sick children to her doorsteps. Warriors came with wounds that would not close. Elders sought her remedies for pain that had plagued them for years. She could heal any illness, but there was something very strange about her. No one had ever seen her go near water. Not the river where women washed clothes, not the stream where lovers met, and not even the village well when everyone needed to draw water for crops during the dry season. One busy afternoon, the market square was crowded with people, buying, selling, and chatting. Suddenly, a loud cry pierced through the noise. "Help! Someone help! This man has collapsed." An elderly trader had slumped to the ground, his face twisted in pain, clutching his chest. People gathered around him, shouting suggestions, but no one knew what to do. Someone yelled, "Get the healer! Fetch Ama quickly, please." Within minutes, Ama arrived, pushing gently through the crowd. She knelt beside the man, closed her eyes, and began whispering something. Those standing close noticed a strange aura around her, like heat waves rising from the hot ground. The old man's labored breathing began to ease. His face brightened. Within minutes, he sat up, looking confused but completely healed. The amazed crowd began to whisper. That was when a woman's voice cut sharply through the murmurs. "I know what you are." Everyone turned to see a stranger, a woman from a neighboring village who had come to buy supplies. She was pointing at Ama. "You are not human. You are from the river." The market fell completely silent. Ama stood slowly, her face calm. "I don't know what you're talking about. I am just a healer, nothing more." But the stranger pressed on, her voice rising. "I have seen you before, but not here. Your face, your presence, you aren't ordinary." The argument grew heated, with Ama denying every accusation while the stranger insisted she was right. The crowd watched with growing confusion and fascination. Finally, Obi the blacksmith stepped forward. "Stranger, these are serious accusations. If you claim our healer isn't ordinary, or is from the river as you say, what proof do you have? And how can you, an ordinary market woman, see things that ordinary eyes cannot see? Who are you really?" The stranger's face went pale. She realized she had revealed too much. After a long, tense moment, she backed away slowly. "I must have been mistaken. Please forgive my confusion." She turned and hurried out of the market, disappearing down the path towards her village. But the damage was done. People stared at Ama with new suspicion, asking questions with their eyes that their mouths dared not speak. That evening, Ama sat in her hut trembling with fear for the first time. Her hands shook as she tried to grind herbs for her evening patients. But she could not focus. The thought of the stranger occupied her mind. She kept asking herself question after question. Was the woman a ghost? Or a human with strange eyes? No. For her to recognize me, she too must be hiding what she truly was. No wonder she fled when Obi demanded proof. She would have exposed herself as well. But even though she had left, the seed of suspicion had already been planted. Ama took a deep breath. She could feel the change in how people looked at her. Some avoided her eyes. Others stared too long. The questions they asked themselves were dangerous. Why does she never touch water? How does she heal without touching people? Why do her eyes sometimes glow? What if the stranger was right? She knew she could not continue living in the village with this cloud of doubt hanging over her. Sooner or later, people would test her, trick her, or force her into a situation where her true identity would be undeniably revealed. That night, Okpara the Dibia came to visit her. The old priest sat across from her, his wise eyes seeing far more than most. "The stranger spoke the truth today, didn't she?" he asked gently. Ama's eyes filled with tears, and she nodded slowly. "I never meant to deceive anyone. I only wanted to help, to live among them, to feel what it means to be truly connected to others. In the river, I was worshipped, but terribly alone. Yeah, I have known friendship, purpose and joy, but I guess I have also been selfish. People must have gone to the river for help and got no response." She looked at Okpara with desperation. "What should I do? I cannot return to that isolated existence. But I cannot stay here with everyone suspicious of me. I am trapped between two worlds, belonging fully to neither." Okpara was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled softly. "Perhaps you are not meant to choose one or the other. Perhaps there's a third party, one that honors both your need for connection and your duty for the river. But the question is, are you willing to walk that path?" Amma quickly asked, "Please tell me about it." He began. "There's a child in this village named Adaeze. You saved her life 2 years ago when she nearly died. From birth, that child has shown unusual signs. She sees things before they happen and talks to unknown persons or things she alone can see." Amma listened carefully as Okpara continued. "What if you trained her? Not as your replacement immediately, but as your successor. You could teach her gradually over time, transferring your knowledge and eventually your essence. She could become an intercessor, one who chose the role willingly, who understood both human and divine words. And you could eventually be released to live the mortal life you desire." Ama's heart leaped with hope, but also doubt. A life I'm willing to give up on. Why would I want a child to take it up? Isn't that wickedness? Besides, would the river spirits accept such an arrangement? Can a goddess simply pass a mantle to a human child? Okpara nodded. "It has ancient precedent. Divine beings have transferred their essence before when they found worthy successors. The question is whether Adaeze would accept such a destiny and whether you would be willing to remain partially connected to the river all your life. She will only be an intercessor until you die. Only then can she become your full successor, because she is human and cannot live under the water." That very evening, they went to visit Adaeze and her mother. When the child heard the proposal, her eyes lit up with wonder rather than fear. "You mean I could become a goddess? I would live in the beautiful river and help people?" Her mother gasped. "Adaeze, this is not a game. This is your entire life, your humanity. You will be giving up." Okpara immediately cut in. "She isn't going to live in the water. She would stay in a hut beside the river as the priestess of Omambala, interceding for the people. That way, she is still connected to the land. Already, she is not an ordinary child, which you have repeatedly bragged about. Why hold her back now that she has an opportunity to use her gifts?" The little girl ran to her mother's side, held her hand and pleaded, "Mama, please don't say no. If I can help the river and all the people who depend on it, then I want to do it." Her mother placed a hand on her shoulder. "My child, you are too young to choose this path. You are just 12. Adaeze quickly cut in. "Mama, I'm not a baby anymore. See? I'm now a big girl." She gestured at her body, turning around to show off like a grown lady, and everyone burst into laughter. After much deliberation, Mama Adaeze agreed, and Adaeze left with Amma to her hut. There, she stayed for years, learning things about the river. Slowly, Adaeze began to change. Her movement became more graceful, and her understanding of water deepened. And as Adaeze's power increased, Ama grew more human. She began to feel hunger and thirst more acutely. She grew tired and needed sleep. Her healing powers weakened until they were merely skillful rather than miraculous. But she also felt lighter, freer, more truly herself than she had ever been. The villagers gossiped about Adaeze's apprenticeship. Some said it was a good idea since she had always been a mysterious child, while others said she was an Ogbanje, one possessed by evil spirits, hiding under the guise of healing. As the coronation day drew closer, Okpara told Ama that it would not be possible to crown Adaeze as the river priestess without the king's knowledge, so they both paid the palace a visit. After explaining the purpose of their visit, the king told them he had no issues with it, but it would only be possible after he received a sincere answer to why they suddenly needed a river priestess, a role that had never existed before. The villagers only knew of a goddess who, according to them, had gone silent over the years. Ama could no longer hide her identity. She apologized for neglecting her duties, even though she had been helping them indirectly while living among them, and revealed to the king that she was the river goddess who had left her throne to live among humans. The coronation was meant to repair the consequences of her absence. They left the palace excited after fixing a date for the coronation. Unaware that a palace maid had overheard everything, she went out and told a friend who helped spread Ama's true identity. As Ama and Okpara walked through the streets, they noticed unusual stares from passersby. Then Ama overheard someone say, "No wonder the river has been silent all these years." Another muttered, "Obviously the reason she has never touched water." Another added, "And her eyes glows when she heals, even without touching the person." Ama stopped, turned to them and said, "Yes, I am the river goddess, but I never abandoned you. I was absent at the river, but present among you. I have dedicated my life to helping, no matter the time I am called. I have never failed. What is my crime? Loving humanity? Wanting to be connected to the people I love?" Everywhere fell silent. The villagers apologized for their ignorance and left. For the first time since leaving her throne, Ama felt at peace. She no longer had to hide who she truly was. Days later, Adaeze was crowned the new priestess and successor after Ama, in the presence of the villagers. Ama died 18 years later and was buried behind Adaeze's hut, close to the river. The villagers never forgot the lesson that sometimes the bravest thing anyone can do is choose their own path, and that duty transformed by love becomes not a burden, but a blessing. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories.